Power, wealth, entitlement. These are words often tied to privilege. But privilege can blind. It can convince someone that others exist only to serve. This is the story of a young man who grew up surrounded by luxury. He believed money made him untouchable. He believed power was his birthright. It is also the story of a young woman, a housekeeper's daughter, quiet, overlooked, dismissed as unimportant. But what he did not know was that she carried discipline. She carried training. She carried strength. When arrogance collided with preparation, the outcome shocked everyone who witnessed it. And it delivered a lesson that money could never erase. The setting is the world of extreme wealth. Families who lived behind gates, homes with more rooms than people to fill them, staff members for every detail of life. The father in this story built his fortune in real estate and private equity. He managed properties across the country. He invested in ventures that grew his portfolio. The family lived in an estate with manicured gardens, private security, and luxury cars in the driveway. His son, the central figure in this story, grew up in this environment. He never knew scarcity. He never faced limits. And he developed the belief that others existed to obey him. The housekeeper employed by the family was steady and professional. She had worked in service roles most of her life. Her reputation was one of reliability. She rarely spoke unless spoken to. She kept the home running smoothly. Her daughter often came by after school. She would wait quietly in the kitchen or sit outside until her mother finished work. She was polite and kept to herself. To the son of the millionaire, she was invisible. To him, she was simply part of the background of his household. But outside of that house, her life was very different. She trained in a local gym. She wore gloves, mouth guards, and headgear. She sparred with boys taller and heavier than her. She practiced footwork, combinations, and defensive maneuvers. She competed in amateur boxing tournaments. Her weekends were filled with sweat, effort, and coaching. She was not just a housekeeper's daughter. She was a fighter in training. The turning point came during a summer afternoon. The household was busy preparing for a gathering. Caterers moved in and out. Gardeners trimmed hedges. Tables were set. The son of the millionaire, home from university, wandered restlessly. He was frustrated, entitled, and looking for control. He spotted the housekeeper's daughter outside. She was seated under a tree, reading quietly while waiting for her mother. To him, her presence seemed out of place. He confronted her. He ordered her to move. She responded calmly, saying she was fine where she was until her mother finished. Her calmness irritated him. He was not used to being denied. He raised his voice. He insulted her. He mocked her background. He reminded her of her mother's job. And then he crossed a line. He grabbed her wrist. She told him to let go. He laughed and tightened his grip. In a reckless act, he wrapped his arm around her neck. He tried to choke her. The staff nearby froze. They had seen his temper before. They feared for their jobs if they intervened. But the young woman did not freeze. She stayed calm. She shifted her stance. She used her training. She broke free with a movement practiced countless times. She pulled away and created space. The young man lunged again, fueled by pride and anger, but she was ready. She delivered a clean, controlled strike to his midsection. It was precise. It was effective. It knocked the air from his lungs. He stumbled backward, shocked. The staff gasped. The son tried to recover. He rushed again. She sidestepped. she took control of his arm. She used leverage, not brute force, to bring him down. He landed hard. The silence was heavy. The spoiled son of a millionaire lay on the ground staring up at the daughter of a housekeeper. This was more than a fight. It was a collision of two lies shaped by different realities. He had grown up shielded by money. He believed he could take what he wanted. He believed wealth equaled power. But power without discipline collapses. She had grown up with limits. She knew what it meant to struggle. She knew what it meant to train. Her strength was built, not given. Her respect was earned, not assumed. In that moment, the imbalance shifted. He discovered that privilege cannot replace skill. She proved that character matters more than entitlement. Witnesses later said he changed after that day. He never looked at the stats the same way again. His arrogance cracked. He carried the memory of humiliation, but also of reality. For her, the moment reinforced discipline. It showed her that training mattered. It showed her that patience and control could overcome reckless force. She continued boxing. She entered more competitions. She carried herself with quiet confidence. The story spread quietly among the staff. They repeated it in whispers. They described how the young man was brought down not by wealth, not by another privileged peer, but by someone he had dismissed. The spoiled son of a millionaire believed money made him untouchable. He believed others existed to serve him. But arrogance met discipline. Privilege met preparation. His power came from his family name. Her power came from her training. He used force recklessly. She used technique with control. In the end, he walked away with bruised pride. She walked away with dignity intact. The staff who witnessed it never forgot. Neither did he. Because on that day, a truth became undeniable. Respect cannot be bought. Strength does not come from money. And sometimes, the quietest person in the room carries the greatest power of all.